Welcome back to another episode of Mushoku Tensei or Jobless Reincarnation. So in the previous episode, Rudy made a friend. So he met Sylphie, or Sylph as he thought it was, and he was hanging out with them a lot. And then eventually they were playing outside, got caught in the rain, and they went back to Rudeus's house and they were gonna take a bath, but Sylph was very hesitant to do it. And then Rudy was kind of like teasing them and doing all sorts of things, and then eventually he took the joke too far and fully just pulled the pants down from Sylph and found out that Sylph is actually Sylphie, and it's a girl which he did not know about. So obviously, he got a bit of a scolding, a bit of a teaching from his dad, and they ended up making up, they ended up apologizing and stuff like that. So yeah, it was an interesting episode to see, you know, Rudeus and how his social awareness just isn't really there, which makes sense, right? I'm sure we're gonna see his social skills improve with the series and stuff like that as he goes out more and talks to more people. I'm sure he's gonna improve socially and stuff, but it was definitely a cool thing to see for us the viewers, right? How he is right now. So yeah, it was an interesting episode. Let's see what this one's gonna be all about. So if you wanna watch this, Uncut and Blur is always on Patreon in the description, and let's go into Mushoku Tensei episode 4. Oh, wow, okay. Ah. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. Okay, so this is the last episode that I've watched before. Everything from here on out is more or less I'm blind. But this is one of the details that I remember. I didn't remember that they were pregnant or whatever. I just remember that, yeah, he definitely cheated. I'm gonna go more into that later in the episode because I have thoughts on it. But for now, I'm just gonna let it play out. And I know that there's gonna be a few other things that happen in this episode, so I want it to play out so that I can talk about it in bulk later. I love the way they do their openings here in season 1. I've seen some of the later openings, and I don't think they do this again. Maybe they do in part 2. His selfishness turned this utterly, like, what should have been an extremely joyful occasion into this mess. Wow. Yeah, yeah, not a chance. She keeps a secret. She keeps a secret. That's his true objective. She keeps her mouth shut. Okay, let's see it. That's the play. That's the play. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, please just stay out of this for now, Paul. This guy. This Rudeus guy. Oof. Oh, what a situation, man. God, he's insane. You know, I do kind of respect when it comes to Rudeus. I do kind of respect how willing he is to just try out like a dialogue tree that he's seen in like a game or a light novel or something. He's like, you know what? Maybe I can like social engineer this in a way that it's gonna go in my direction. So let's just try it out. He isn't afraid to be like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just try it. And goes in and says the most outlandish stuff possible. I think it also works because he's like this age. And he just says it and everyone's like, actually, you know what? You're kind of spitting. I kind of like that. I think it makes it really, really interesting. Sure. Nothing unholy about this one. Understandable. Crazy that she's taking responsibility for this as well in her own mind. Well, to be fair, I do think she's partially responsible for it as well, but at least from what we're seeing here, I don't think she said any kind of no or anything along those lines. That is going to be interesting, because I'm sure both of the kids are going to play like a big role. Oh, whoa! Non Aisha. Now they're finally seeing the difference between an actual kid and Rudeus. Just his ramblings. Yeah, she seems a lot more talkative. That was the only other detail that I remember from this. I have no idea what the fuck's happening next after this. That was the only other detail that I remember from this. Okay, this is what when I wanted to talk about some of the things here. So, first of all, I think cheating is one of the worst non-criminal things that a person can do, period. And I think it's pretty nigh on unforgivable for a person, right? In my opinion, like, people have different opinion, different experiences, I'm sure. For me, it's pretty much unforgivable, especially because he was not only did he have a partner, but he also had a happy family, and he was ready to risk this entire happiness of his entire family because he couldn't keep it in his pants. I think that's extremely selfish. And I can't really find a reason. Like, I don't know how they can do anything to make me like Paul in any way. And on top of that, they also added the fact that he assaulted her, and then didn't get any consequences for it, right? He just fled to the countryside and led a happy life after that fact. I mean, I can't see any kind of reason for me to like, I think the only thing that I like about Paul is the fact that he tries to be a good dad in a way, but then, even then, he was ready to risk his entire family because he wanted to have sex more, even though he just came from his wife, like, after they've finished, right? So, like, I don't know, man. Like, can you call him a good dad if he's ready to risk all of the familial, like, all of the family that he has because of that? I don't know. Maybe he just didn't think that through, but he probably didn't. He doesn't seem like the guy who would think that through. But, I mean, cheating and losing someone's trust like this in a family, yeah, I don't know. That's the same to me as throwing away basically all the trust that people have had for you and all the familial bonds that you had. You're kind of like throwing them away if you do that, in my opinion. Yeah, that's the one thing that I remember pissing me the fuck off when I first watched it, and yeah, it definitely pissed me off here. I'm very much keeping it in though. Also, wait, I was just thinking, I was lost in thought. What did he say about the ranks? Or not the ranks, but the styles. Sword God, Water God, and North God. Advanced in all three, okay. Yeah, tell him. Oh. He's testing us. He's testing us, you know. Really testing us. Yeah. I feel like school is probably going to be another thing where it induces some trauma within him, right? Damn, what a thing to say to your kid. Really doesn't land when you say it. It really doesn't land when he says it. Mmm. Mm. He's setting a limit to what he can do here, right? No. No. Nobody else treats her like a friend. That would be a sound plan as well. Hmm? Hmm? Classic. Classic. Oh, Roxy! It's been 2 years, wow! Then the city looks insane. Shirone Kingdom. She knew all about it, baby. She knew all about it. King class water magic. Whoa.
もし魔術のことで行き詰まることがあれば、前にも話したラノア魔法大学の門を
I'm excited for this. I want to see him advance with magic and stuff.
ロキシーより師匠。
へえ、ロキシーちゃんついに水曜級になったのか。すげえな。
すごいんですか？
そりゃすごいさ。世界中見ても片手で数えられるくらいしかいないと。
Wow.
王宮
Wow, that big, huh?
ところでお前
No, don't say it. Yeah, I was gonna say he saw all of that.
情けない現状に釘を刺された気分だ。くそ、ロキシーに落胆はされたくない。
ラノア魔法大学か。父様、一つわがままを言ってもいいですか？
ダメだ。
Go to the academy.
ルディ、なんでも言いなさい。お父さんが何とかしてくれるわ。ここは旦那様の威厳と解消が試される時です。
ルディが前置きまでするんだ。
At least, okay, at least, and this is like a small thing, at least he lost a lot of the respect in the house. You know what? At least that is a small, minuscule, way too small of a punishment for what he had done, right? At least a minuscule thing that changes. He no longer holds much weight in the household, which is at least some
手
punishment.
に負えないようなことに違い。
実は最近行き詰まっていまして、そのためにラノアの魔法大学に入学したいのですが、
ほう、
シルフィーにそんな話を匂わせたら離れたくないと泣かれました。
この色男め、誰に似たんだ？
せっかくなので一緒に通いたいのですが、彼女の家は我が家ほど裕福ではありません。
Oh,
二人分の学費を払っていただければとお願いします。
ほう、二人でラノアに。
interesting.
ダメだ。理由はいくつかある。まず剣術が途中だ。お前の師匠としてここで放り出すわけにはいかない。それにお前は賢いがまだ幼い。親としての責任を放棄するわけにはいかない。あとは金の問題だ。お前だけならともかく、シルフィーも一緒となると無理だ。うちも湯水のように金があるわけじゃない。
なるほど。わかりました。では一ついいでしょうか？仕事を斡旋してください。なるべく
Mm.
高いものがいいです。
仕事？なぜだ？
父様に認められて家を出るまでにシルフィーの分の学費を僕が稼ぎます。
それはシルフィーのためにはならないぞ。
はい。でも僕のためには
Ooh,
なるか
I
と。
like that. I like that. A little bit. Ooh, I like that. You know, a little bit, if you look at it in the grand scale of things, a little bit selfish, but selfish in a way that is really interesting. I like it because obviously he's saying I don't really mind. Like it's not gonna be the best for Sylphie. It's not gonna be a good lesson for Sylphie that everything that she gets is gonna be served to her on a silver platter like this, right? And other people are gonna do everything for her. It's not a great lesson for her. But he's like, yeah, I know, but I prioritize myself. It's good for me. I like that. I think it's an interesting direction.
わかった。そういうことなら心当たりを当たってみよう。
ありがとうございます。
To the horses.
よう、久しぶりだな、ギレール。
Hello. Okay, it's a muscle mummy.
獣人来たー。
A beast person.
久しぶりね。
They say Ghislaine. That's how they pronounce it, so
お前の子供か？
I guess that's how I pronounce it.
なるんよ。
Is this a job?
寂しくなります。
I'm guessing this is the job.
元気でね。帰ってくるのを楽しみに待ってるわ。待ってください。一体何？
なあ、ルディよ。
はい、何でしょう。
He did not even get advance notice for it.
シルフィーと距離を置けって言われたらどう思う？
は？嫌に決まってるじゃないですか。
だよな。
何なんですか？
いや、なんでもない。話をしたってどうせ言いくるめられるだけだしな。
Oh my god. Ooh, nice. Oh. Yep. Ooh. Oh, he knocked him out? Did he knock him out? He knocked him out. Okay. Kids don't need free will. Just knock them out and put them in a van. Crazy.
どうなってんだ？
こんにちは。ルーデウス・グレイロットと申します。パウロの息子にしては礼儀正しいのだな。はあ。ギレーヌだ。明日からよろしく頼む。それはどうも。よろしくお願いします。
She seems cool. Ghislaine. Emergency family meeting. That's the title of the episode. I guess it explains it. So I feel like we have... Anyways, so I feel like we have some things to discuss. Wow. Yeah. This was the last episode that I've watched back when it first aired, and I can see why this episode turned me away from it. It is a very frustrating episode in a lot of ways, right? Definitely Paul is a character of all time. Man. I mean, I said what I basically wanted to say. I think it is one of the worst things that you can do as a person is cheat on a loving partner, right? Especially if you already have a family and all those things. I think it is not very forgivable, especially considering the fact that he also assaulted, what's her name? Oh god, blank, Lilia, is that her name? And then got no repercussions for it, just ran away, started a new family, hired her as a maid. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, I think Paul is definitely not an enjoyable, or not, maybe enjoyable isn't the correct word. I just don't think he's a likable character in any way, shape, or form. He did try, he had a few cool moments with Rudeus before this, when it comes to being a parent and stuff, and I do think that he did try genuinely to imprint some good lessons onto Rudeus, so I do think that is commendable, but I think everything else is not. So, yeah. But either way, now that is done and dusted, it's gonna be interesting to see what this entire job is gonna be. As I said, I did like the fact that Rudeus puts himself first. I think that's one of the things that I feel like oftentimes I see, especially in anime and stuff, you see, you know, people who are like main characters who always put everyone else before themselves. And I do like whenever I see sometimes a character that actually is like, you know what? I want to help you out and stuff like that, but I kind of want to prioritize myself for a bit. And I think that's a very fair thing to do. I think you should be your own #1 priority, right? As long as it's not too big of a detriment to others. And I think here, what he decided to do, what Rudy decided to do was fair. I think that's a good thing. I think I kind of like it, you know? I kind of like it. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about a little bit about the entire first episode, because I remember when I put out the first episode, like there was a pretty long intro when I talked about like my initial like my reasonings behind Mushoku Tensei and why I dropped it and all those things. And I remember seeing like maybe a comment or two that were talking about how, you know, don't worry about it. You've seen anime that are a lot more like lewd or whatever suggestive on the channel, so I don't think this, you know, needs that kind of like disclaimer and stuff. But I will say the reason why I did that intro at the beginning was not because of like the, I don't know, the nature of like the lewd nature of the show or anything along those lines. It's because of how frustrated I felt when I first watched the first 4 episodes, and how I was worried about that happening again when I rewatched it here on the channel. So I kind of wanted to talk about it a bit. And also, I mean, this is what this channel is for, right? I just want to give my thoughts on things, give everything that's on my mind to you guys, right? And just yap for a bit. That's what I love doing most. So that's why the intro was the way that it was. And now that I watched the first 4 episodes, I can say that it was like incomparable how much more I enjoyed these first 4 episodes. Obviously, I think this episode 4 here is the big divisive one, because this episode is the one that I felt the most frustrated with, and I can feel still being very much frustrated right now. That's why I'm not talking too much more about it, because I know I'm gonna get heated over it, so I'm just leaving that entire section back. It is the most frustrating one, right? But I do think it's done in a way where it doesn't necessarily be like, it doesn't try to preach to you, hey, yeah, he did that, but you know, you have to like him. I don't think it's trying to preach to you this, because if it tried to preach to you that, you know, if it tried to redeem those actions for Paul, then I would have a problem with it, because in my opinion, those actions are irredeemable. But I don't think it's trying to redeem him. I don't think it's trying to redeem him, which I like. I do like that. I think that's fine. It's fine to have a character that has done some irredeemable stuff, as long as the show doesn't try to tell you to like him and stuff like that, right? So I think that's what it's doing with Paul. As I said earlier, I think Paul had some cool moments and stuff like that with Rudeus, but I don't think he's much, there's a way to redeem those things that he has done in the past. I think those things are way too big to redeem them in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. But yeah, this was a cool episode though. Really, really different and interesting episode. And now we are finally leaving the town, the village, right? So now it's gonna be interesting to see how Rudeus is going to find himself in presumably a different town or whatever, completely different environment. And not only that, but also without Sylviette there. He spent a lot of his past, like, what, year, maybe close to 2 years at this point, with Sylviette, and now, or Sylviette, and now he's gonna be without her. So let's see how that's gonna go, right? I guess we'll find out in the next episode. For now, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.